Oh, you won't believe how this started. Not with a royal announcement, not with a press release, but with something straight out of a thriller novel. A plain white envelope slipped onto Prince William's desk like a ghost creeping in through Buckingham Palace's endless corridors. No name, no fanfare, just sitting there like it had every right to exist. But when William picked it up, his stomach dropped. The seal wasn't some random stamp. No, it carried the mark of Queen Elizabeth II herself, as if her hand had reached out from the grave to deliver a warning. The air outside his window was thick with fog, pressing against the glass like a bad omen. And when William cracked open the envelope, the sound of the paper ripping apart was so loud in the silence of his study it was like thunder. Inside, at first glance, it looked boring, official, lifeless. But oh, the words! The words cut like knives wrapped in velvet. Succession, influence, quiet, dangerous phrases that hinted at something unthinkable, that his place in the royal line wasn't as secure as everyone believed. And tucked away at the corner of the page, a small, almost invisible reference pointing straight to Queen Camilla's private office. That was it. That was the moment the chill hit him. Because let's be honest, Camilla has always been a controversial figure. She smiles sweetly, plays the part, but William remembers being a teenager, watching his mother cry alone because of the very woman now whispering through palace corridors. Princess Diana had warned him years ago in her quiet, heartbreaking way. This palace isn't built on loyalty, William. It's built on games. And suddenly, here was proof. King Charles, frail and fading, was slipping away by the day. And while he weakened, Camilla only grew stronger. Her circle, her son Tom Parker Bowles, her sister Annabelle Elliott, were sliding closer and closer to the throne's golden glow. Tom? Oh, Tom wasn't just hanging around. He was becoming the charming, media-polished face of a new generation, smiling in ballrooms, schmoozing donors, rubbing shoulders with journalists. Annabelle? She wasn't far behind. She had bagged contracts worth millions renovating royal properties. All so discreet, so under the radar that nobody questioned it. Until now, William's blood ran cold. This wasn't about crowns and titles anymore. This was about survival. So he did the only thing he could. He picked up the phone and called the one person who never flinches. His aunt, Princess Anne. The woman is steel wrapped in silk. When William told her, she didn't panic, she didn't hesitate. She just said, "I'll be there by morning." And she was. Anne had seen decades of palace games. She'd outlived scandals, wars, divorces, even Diana's tragedy. If anyone could smell a scheme, it was her. And when she looked at that document, her verdict was colder than ice. "This isn't about Camilla trying to wear the crown," she said, flat and sharp. "This is about her building a dynasty of her own." And that was even worse, because Camilla wasn't just angling for influence. She was laying the foundation for her children, her sister, her family. Carefully, strategically, like a chess master moving pawns no one else even realized were in play, elevating Tom into the spotlight, making Annabelle indispensable, quietly rewriting the narrative of power with Charles too weak to fight back. Anne's eyes didn't waver. She's been planning this for years. William's hands clenched. His aunt was right. Camilla was playing chess while the rest of the family thought they were still playing checkers. But William had one card she didn't count on. He wasn't alone. He had Anne, he had Catherine, and together they weren't about to let Camilla turn the monarchy into her personal family business. The war had begun. Picture this: a glittering Mayfair ballroom, chandeliers sparkling like frozen fireworks, glasses clinking, whispers swirling, donors, journalists, influencers, the kind of crowd that feeds on prestige. And there, standing beneath all that crystal light, was Tom Parker Bowles, Camilla's son, her golden boy. His smile was polished to perfection, his speech rehearsed down to the pause. On the surface, it looked like a normal society gathering, but behind that speech? Oh no, it wasn't about charm, it was about sabotage. Camilla herself had helped craft every word. Tom's voice carried across the room, honeyed but laced with poison. "Prince William is noble, yes, but sometimes leadership demands something more. Heart, real connection, not just cold duty." Gasps, murmurs. Some in the crowd shifted uncomfortably. Others smirked, sensing the scandal. Cameras clicked like vultures circling a feast. Everyone knew what he meant. He wasn't just giving a speech. He was undermining William. And Camilla? She stood at the back, her wine trembling ever so slightly in her hand. She hated taking risks in public, but Charles was slipping away and her window was closing fast. This was her gamble to cement Tom's rise. But, oh, the gamble backfired spectacularly. By morning, social media was on fire. Hashtags like #RoyalRift and number Tom versus William trended across Twitter. Some tabloids dared to call Tom bold, others labeled him arrogant, but the truth? This wasn't a book launch, this was a power grab in full view of the world. And while Camilla's camp thought they had played a bold card, Catherine, oh Catherine, responded like the queen-in-waiting she was born to be. That very afternoon, without missing a beat, she appeared in East London. No pomp, no crown, just her, George, and little Louis by her side. Her coat, emerald green, regal but approachable. Her smile, genuine, soft, the kind that melts cameras. She read books with children, painted murals, kissed Louis on the cheek while the flashes went wild. And then, right on cue, William joined her mid-visit, taking George's hand. The picture was complete. A family united, warm, trusted. It wasn't just an appearance, it was a masterstroke. The kind of PR move that didn't just counter Camilla's scheme, it obliterated it. The photos went viral before they even left the school gates. Twitter, Instagram, tabloids. Every feed lit up with images of William and Catherine embodying everything the monarchy wanted to project. Stability, kindness, family. And Camilla, sitting in her Chelsea apartment, scrolling through the images, her glass of wine untouched. She stared at Catherine crouching with children, William smiling at his son, and for the first time she felt the sting of defeat. Beside her, Tom tried to brush it off. The press will cool down, right? People liked the speech, didn't they? She didn't answer, because deep down, Camilla knew the truth. Catherine had just checkmated her with a single smile. But the battle wasn't over, not even close. That night, in a discreet private club, the kind of place royals use for whispers behind locked doors, William and Anne sat face to face. Camilla's bleeding goodwill, Anne said, calm as ever. But she isn't stupid. She'll pull back, recalibrate. This was just one move. William leaned forward, his voice low but fierce. Then we don't wait, we push. Anne's eyes narrowed, then she nodded. We push, but with precision. This isn't about destroying her, it's about breaking her grip. And so, the next strike wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it was forensic. Behind palace doors, a quiet investigation began into Annabelle Elliott's contracts. Every invoice, every bid, every shady vendor tied to her multi-million-pound renovations. And what they found? Oh, it was rotten. Inflated costs, shell companies, money routed in shadows, patterns too neat to be accidents, deliberate, calculated, with Camilla's signature on more than a few approvals. Anne gathered the evidence piece by piece, carefully, methodically, not to whisper behind doors, but to eventually drag it into the sunlight if needed. Because this wasn't just corruption, this was betrayal. And William? He wasn't about to let it slide. Meanwhile, Catherine kept playing her part like a queen already crowned. More family outings, more charity work, every smile, every hand held, every camera flash pulling the public further and further into their orbit. Camilla had made her move. Now, William, Catherine, and Anne were making theirs. And the palace, it was bracing for war. The atmosphere inside the Privy Council chamber was nothing short of electric. Imagine a room heavy with oak, tradition, and the ghosts of monarchs past. And right in the middle of that, a thick folder sat in front of every advisor. Not gossip, not speculation, hard evidence. Weeks of digging had paid off. Page after page, the truth unfolded. A financial pipeline running straight from Annabelle Elliott's royal renovation contracts into her private accounts. Millions siphoned under the guise of restoration, inflated bids, shady vendors no one had ever heard of, payments rerouted through a maze of shell companies so intricate it practically screamed this wasn't incompetence, this was intent. And the most damning part? Camilla's name stamped on the approvals. Anne stood tall, flipping through the last pages like a prosecutor ready to strike. Her voice cut the silence. £55 million in overcharges. All funneled under the royal budget, all pushed through by someone who knew the system too well. Camilla wasn't in the room, but her fingerprints are all over this. The chamber was still for a moment. Then one of the older advisors, a man who had served under Queen Elizabeth herself, broke the silence, his voice trembling with anger. We served a queen who kept this family clean. This is a betrayal of everything she stood for. And just like that, the mood shifted from concern to fury. The vote was unanimous. No hesitation, no wavering. Annabelle Elliott was stripped of every royal contract, every privilege. Her access to Clarence House, Sandringham, gone. Overnight, she went from an insider swimming in royal money to a disgraced outcast. Tom Parker Bowles, he wasn't formally tied to the finances, but that didn't save him. The optics were poison, the damage irreversible. He was quietly cut from public-facing royal duties. His carefully built image as the charming bridge between monarchy and modernity, dead. The palace didn't make loud accusations. They didn't need to. The silence screamed louder than words. The message was crystal clear. Camilla's empire was crumbling, and in her Chelsea apartment, Camilla sat frozen, staring at the TV as images of William and Catherine flooded the screen, smiling, radiant, surrounded by children at a hospice. The golden afternoon light made them look untouchable, headlines praised their grace, social media overflowed with admiration. Meanwhile, Camilla's phone? Silent. No allies, no lifelines, just Annabelle sobbing through the speakerphone. "They've taken everything. You promised we were untouchable." Camilla couldn't answer, because the truth was, she had nothing left to promise. And then came the blow that shattered her completely. Charles, the king growing frailer by the day, summoned her for a private talk. His words were clipped, cold, devastating. "You need to step back, no more appearances, no more pushing. If you keep this up, you'll destroy what's left." For Camilla, it was a dagger straight through the heart. She left the meeting knowing exactly what it meant. Her era of quiet influence was over. Across London, inside Kensington Palace, the mood was different. Catherine curled beside William on their couch, tracing soft circles across his knuckles. "You did the right thing," she whispered. "For your grandmother. For us." William stared into the distance, shoulders heavy with weeks of war. His voice broke the silence. "I didn't want a war, but I wasn't going to let her turn the monarchy into a family business." And then came Anne's call, sharp and warning, "Camilla's retreating. But don't mistake silence for surrender." William didn't argue. He knew the truth. The battle had been won, but the war wasn't over. 2 weeks later, the monarchy gathered for a public event honoring Queen Elizabeth's lifelong contributions to British charities. A day meant to celebrate the late Queen's legacy, but in reality, it became the stage for William's defining moment. Standing tall, Catherine watching proudly from the front row, William delivered a speech that cut through the fog of scandal like a blade. "My grandmother believed the crown should serve, not rule. That integrity must always come before comfort. And that family doesn't mean blind loyalty. It means protecting the values passed down to us." Thunderous applause, the kind that shakes walls. And somewhere, far from the spotlight, Camilla watched on a flickering TV in her quiet flat. Her wine glass sat untouched, her family fractured, her influence gone. Her name now whispered not with respect, but with scandal. The crown had survived, but it was William, Catherine, and Anne standing tall at its center.